I don't want to just skim over these guys from 10 to 20. There are some guys in here that I think are important, but I want to do so quickly because I want to talk a little bit about runs. Value guys from 10 to 20, guys who are capable of stealing more. The first guy that jumps out on this list to me, by the way, there are 50 guys with 10 plus stolen bases in the major leagues. That's a lot. It's not that much. I mean, 10 stolen bases isn't that big of a number, right? So 50 guys that stole 10 bases isn't otherworldly. I would expect more than that. So some of these guys will be important, I guess is my point here, okay? 13 stolen bases. Ramon Laureano, he's just 25 years old. His ADP is 91.5. Arnie, I'd be surprised if Solak starts in center field. I really would. I know Solak is highly thought of. I would really be... I don't know. I know you've seen a lot of those guys because I know that Texas has a minor league team down by where you are. So maybe you might have a better read on Solak. I just think Santana's track record is a little bit underappreciated. He's really kind of produced everywhere he's played. He's just not been given a whole lot of opportunity. So I don't see a catastrophic April out of Santana. As a matter of fact, I see quite the opposite. I see him coming out and having a good April and really cementing himself in the front part of that lineup for an improved Rangers team this year as they all start to grow into their roles. So anyway, back to Laureano. 288 last year, 24 homers, 79 runs, 67 ribs, 13 stolen bases. He's just 25 years old. He played in only 123 games last year. Projected out 32 and 18 if he played the full season. Those are really good numbers. I love Laureano as well. I really do believe he continues to hit around 280, 290. He grows into that leadoff position. I think he has the capability to steal 25 bags. I think he has the capability to hit 35 homers. That's a first-round player, guys. And at a 91 ADP is an extreme value, okay? I really would suggest taking a chance on him. Another guy in this 10 to 20 category that I felt like I needed to talk about, ADP 182, Scott Kingery, had 15 stolen bases last year. He hit 258 with 19 homers. He's got an everyday job at third base initially. And then when Alec Baum is ready to come up, he'll most likely move to center field. Kingery will play every day for the Phillies this year. He had a disappointing rookie season, but really showed his worth last year. Playing at second, third, short, center. He's eligible pretty much all over the field. He only played 126 games last year, guys. So again, that's important to take note of. Malpal, that's a fair point, but we're kind of cherry picking stats. I hate to go back to him because I got other guys I want to get to. We're kind of cherry picking stats there because, like I said, his rookie year he hit 314. The only other time he played 100 games. Talking about Santana, guys. The only other time he played more than 100 games, he hit 314. It's about opportunity. He seized his opportunity last year, Malpal. That's my only point. So, I get it. I get that in small spurts he hasn't done well. Last year, when given the role, he succeeded. Again, the comparison, for comparison's sake, was he and... Sorry, I got to go back up to it. Well, you could say that about Pham too, Kingery, or Lenny. Witt versus Santana, you're talking about a 5-round difference and pretty similar statistics. That's what I'm saying, Malpal. Welcome, by the way. Thanks for joining. I like Kingery. I really do think that maybe the vision problems affect. Oh, as a rookie, is that what you're saying, Lenny? Lenny comes in with these prophetic statements. Vision problems. What the hell does that mean? Anyway, love you, Lenny. I like Kingery this year. I think he plays every day. I think just by playing every day, you're adding another 30 games onto his statistics. You're talking about 25 homers. You're talking about 20 stolen bases as a floor. At what, a 17th round pick? That's extreme value. Now the one, 258 needs to stay at 250. I like to judge these guys based on north of 250 or south of 250. If you stay north of 250, I'm okay with that. Okay. But I think there's serious appeal with Scott Kingery this year. I think all of his numbers go up with the exception of possibly the average. The other guy I had to mention, you guys know this, Kevin Newman. We're going to talk about Santana. No, can't be. What am I missing? Fill me in. That's you guys. Kevin Newman, 16 stolen bases. His ADP, 209. What he did last year, this guy was once a highly touted rookie. Pittsburgh takes a little longer to develop their players. But when he came up last year, he had 308. He had 12 homers. He had 16 stolen bases. 61 runs, 64 ribs. They've really kind of sheltered this kid for his development. But 320-20 is pretty much his floor. Given regular playing time, I really like Kevin Newman. I think in the 20th round, he's a tremendous value. You're looking at a 300 hitter. Hey, you know what, Arnie? It's funny. You're getting me off task here. Oscar Marin is talking about using his slider. I really like Oscar Marin. So basically the difference between Oscar Marin and Ray Searage is Ray Searage liked to pitch to contact, which took out Archer's slider, took it totally out of the equation. Marin obviously likes to pitch away from contact, which makes sense. He's encouraging Archer to pitch away from contact, which he was a decent strikeout pitcher in Tampa. I love what the Pirates are doing. They're 3 years away from being something serious, but I love the players they have in place. I say the players, the coaches. I really like Oscar Marin. I really like Derek Shelton. I think that the owner, escaping my name right now, is really an impressive owner. Bettenfield or something like that. I really like what the Pirates are doing. They're 2 to 3 years away, Arnie. But they're doing it the right way now. But damn it, I got to run through these guys now. Because I got to talk about these runs, guys. Just real quickly. I think Shelton's a great hire. I really do. Here's the difference. And I'm just going to really get into this holistically because I can't run over much tonight. But the difference between stolen bases and runs, all these guys have high ADPs. So these guys, you're not getting a 500 ADP value out of one of these guys. You're not getting. So all of these guys. So players over 120 runs. 6. 6 players had 120 plus runs. Cody Bellinger had 121. Bregman had 122. Marcus Semien had 123. Acuna had 127. Devers had 129. And Betts had 135. Within this group, and I got to go quickly now because I'll give you till 8:15 tonight, guys. Within this group, Betts goes down, my opinion. I like Devers. 129 runs is a lot of runs. But you look at the rest of his statistics. This is a first-round pick to me, guys. I think he's undervalued. At 24.8, he had 311 last year. I think 120 runs for him this year is safe. He could steal double-digit bases. He and Bogarts are really the leaders of this offense now for Boston. I love Rafael Devers. Ronald Acuna, the number 1 player in baseball, 127 runs, the 3rd most runs in the game last year. Love this guy. He's deserving of that ADP. The next guy, again, admittedly, I've never been a big Marcus Semien fan, but in this grouping, you have to take note. Well, I'm just going to give you blind ADPs from these top 6 guys. 5.3, 24.8, 1 overall, 84.5, 11.3, and 4. What? 84.5 for Semien and 123 runs seems really realistic for him again. For me. And again, I've told you, I'm not a big Semien fan. So the grouping here, 6 players. Semien jumps off the page with that 84.5 ADP. He had 285, career high, 123 runs, career high. He shattered that by 34 runs, by the way. 92 ribbies, career high, and 10 stolen bases. That's important. When you're talking about the rest of these guys, you can't get after the second round. Is that not something we should be taking note of? I'll tell you, I'm targeting Marcus Semien now. I wasn't before. That's why it's important to do this. Okay? The second grouping. 13 guys had 110 plus runs last year. Again, even in this grouping, when you look at Semien's 84.5, I'm just going to read them blindly to you. ADPs from 7 to 13 in the runs category, from 117 runs to 110. 19.3, 16.3, 39.3, 51, 10, 34, the 13th, 130. So again, there's one outlier there, right? You had Semien in the first grouping. Who's that outlier in this second grouping? I want to run down through it real quick. Anthony Rendon at 19.3. I love him. I talked about him before, so I'm not going to talk about him a whole lot tonight. I love him in LA. I love him with Joe Madden. I love him in that lineup. I actually look for him to maybe not have an improvement in runs scored, but be right around 117 again in LA. Freddie Freeman, talking today about him having, I think, shoulder problems. It's a concern. Right elbow irritation. You're talking about a second rounder. I don't think I can do that for Freddie Freeman, as consistent as he is. Charlie Blackmon, 39.3 for Charlie Blackmon. 112 runs last year. He's fallen a little bit because he doesn't steal the bases anymore. But he had 314 with 32 homers last year. 112 runs, 86 RBIs. You're absolutely right, Andrew. There is no issue if he's healthy. But that's a big if right now for Freddie Freeman.